So today I'm going to do a different type of video, and it's about my experience. Quite a few people have said, why don't you tell your story? So I can tell some as to licence conditions allowed, but I'm just going to do this one about my first day out of prison after 24 years and being released without ever doing open prison. I never had a day release or town visit or work release. And because I was 18 when I got locked up, I'd never had a job. So we're in Berwick. That's Wetherspoons over there, just to the left. It's an old theatre. So the reason why I'm in Berwick is this is where the hostel is. I've speeded up a little bit. So I'm going to go back up to the hostel today and talk about, this is where I was on my first day out of prison. So usually when I was in Buckley Hall, because we was on this is a pub here. I used to do pub quizzing here on a Thursday night. But on what you call the progression unit, it's like an end of sentence for long-term prisoners in Buckley Hall. So every single person who got out from there while I was on there, so you'd get unlocked at 8 o'clock, you'd have your 30-minute yard and then call labour about 22:09. And if you were getting released, you'd walk down to reception with labour movement. But it was different with me. I was unlocked and taken to reception at about 7:30 in the morning, and had to be taken to the hostel by the police. So I've got to the hostel quite early. So this is the actual hostel where I was. I'm going to show you the video footage what I took at the time. But first, this is my actual room. That's the budgie I took out from jail with me. That's the room from the other side. And as you come out the room, I'm in all the roof space here. And obviously, you used to having a toilet in your cell. When you wake up in the middle of the night, or you wake up in the morning to brush your teeth or something, you're having to do this trek here in the middle of the night to have a piss. And then try not to bang your head on all this kind of stuff. So you're bending down just to go to the thingy. So that was one of the things I had to get used to. And the stairs are very narrow as well. So it's like the third floor. But I had the 1 o'clock signing. Everyone has a 1 o'clock signing. So I've arranged all the previous days on the phone site to meet family at 1 o'clock or just after 1, and spent the entire morning just going through some paperwork. And it was weird because until my tag was fitted, I wasn't allowed to leave the hostel unless I was accompanied by a member of staff. And this, I never saw anyone else who this happened to, because I was MAPA free. And my tag was fitted about 11:30 or something. He assured me that it would be fitted, but that same day. But quite a lot of people do have a few days to wait, but they just have to be back for tea time or something. So I actually remember going across the road. There's a co-op, I'll show you when I get to it. There's a co-op across the road, and that was the first shop I went into. And then I walked into the town centre with a member of staff from the hostel. Just the first place I went to there was the bank, because I opened a bank account at Buckley Hall just before I got out. And just to inform the bank that I changed my address. Because I had a big shopping trip planned later, I didn't really buy much. I just wanted to have a look around. I remember the first thing I actually bought from the co-op was a Kinder Egg, just some snacks and an innocent milkshake. But pretty much everyone's on that 1 o'clock sign-in. I was usually on it for about a month, but I was on it for 4 months just because of this all. You never went to Cat D, you never had the home leaves and all this kind of stuff. There's a Wilco. I just missed out, actually, when I got out from the big Wilco closing down sale. But in the 6 months that I was in hostel, there were 2 people who had signings of 9 o'clock a.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. So obviously that's when all the school kids are going to school. So there were obviously nonces in that hostel. But I'd arranged to meet a family at KFC. And there's a KFC just up here. There's a little retail park. And the only reason why I chose KFC is because I've never been there before. And I've heard a lot of the hype about the KFC gravy. And I must say, it was absolutely underwhelming. I mean, I've had better fried chicken in Dispersal. And even though I've been to many places, there's a restaurant here, I think I've just gone past it, called Thai Smile, and it's the best place in Bury to eat. It might just look unassuming from the outside, but I've been there many times. But I remember in the build-up to going out, people was like, nah, go Wagamama or go everyone was giving their different recommendations, and I don't know why. KFC was just a random choice. I thought I'd just try it. I'll end up trying everything. And I think I did try. Everything was a novelty for my first few weeks. I was just loving trying new things. And I remember, so after I've done some shopping, where this, you go up here and there's a little retail that's at M&S, and there's the range is next to it, which used to be Debenhams. But I'm just going to try and stick to the point of just day one, getting out. And the amount of stuff I bought on this day, not including things like clothes, and I needed a new coat. That was one of my main priorities. And the amount of stuff I bought, I think I still had some of it a year later. I just did shopping like it was one big canteen spend. And this is some of the receipts from the first day out. I've cropped them and zoomed in, but you might have to zoom in because there's a lot of drinks, there's a lot of coffee. I had to get a Just for Men in there as well for those grey bits. Bottle of Prime as well, see what all the hype was about. bottle of brandy there. It's actually Christmas cake ingredients here. I wanted to make a proper Christmas cake. And I actually remember picking up like a bottle of shaving gel and thinking, am I going to be allowed this in the hostel? We weren't even entirely sure. But the KFC's over there just to the right. But I do remember, like I didn't even drink for a few days. I had one can of Tennessee honey, 250ml, which is like 5% on my first day. You used to get breathalyzed in a hostel. I wasn't on an alcohol tag, so I was allowed to drink, but I wasn't allowed to blow over when I'll be randomly breathalyzed when coming in. And you're not allowed to bring alcohol on the premises, but I did make up for that with a hell of a lot of coffee. Here's a photo. I sent some photos into one of my mates, and he was like a big coffee lover as well. I remember when I took some pictures to send him. This is one of them. I'm sure I still had some of these left about a year later, but I continued to buy stuff for a week afterwards, just like if I've never seen something before, but I've got to try that. And I had snacks, breakfast cereal, it's stuffed in my room. And if my first day was just all about spending time with family, second day I went out back to my home area or with loads of friends and had meals with them, had a couple of drinks. And then on my third day, Thursday, I got out on a Tuesday in October, and so on the Thursday, it was more of a relaxed day to sort my room out. And I remember my room was an absolute shit tip. I barely slept those first 2 nights. It felt weird sleeping on a proper mattress again on that first night. And on that Thursday, like I said, my room was just covered with empty bags, empty boxes, and it just took ages to sort out. And I had to set my PlayStation up. Then realising that I had things what I didn't have chargers for, and I had to nip back to Home Bargain to get chargers, and things like getting back into the gym as well. And I'm going to show you where the gym is. There's a gym just down the road, and it's £10 a month. But when you're in the hostel, the hostel will actually pay £10 a month for it, and that is quite cheap for a gym. And when you go in there, you'll realise it is largely like just weights, and there's things like treadmills that will slip and jerk, and there's the Concept 2 rowers where someone's taking the batteries out. There's actually a brass gaff down that road there, and some people from the hostel did actually go and visit it. Can't remember the name of it though, but it has actually got a good little few punch bags and boxing area down at the bottom, and there's me working out in it there. And I'm coming up to the row of shops here. There's the shops just over the road from the hostel. You got a post office, co-op, hairdressers, a few takeaways and kebab shops. And I was out for about 2 months before I actually had a kebab. But we did used to order pizzas quite a lot when we were in the hostel, and people used to order all kinds, because over the months I was there, I used to see that I'd get loads of times with people. There's the hostel there, that white building, and people who'd come out, and the big novelty that was there all over again. Then they'd be ordering takeaways, spending money. But one of the things that got me, there's the hostel, I had a little proper zoom, but this is Walmsley Road, and about a minute walk up the road, just on the right, is a park called Clarence Park, and we do a park run there, and I actually did do the park run there on the Saturday, and it's just a horrible mud fest. So eventually I just used to hop on the metro link to Heaton Park. But what got me, so we're coming up to the park here, but one of the things, because when you're in the hostel, you have to tell them where you're going, and you write down what clothes you're wearing. So you just say, I'm going out for a run. You have to tell them specifically where or who you're seeing or anything like that. But when I used to go out for a run in the morning, and I think this happened for about a week, I used to come for a run in this park and just do laps. And it was like I was still in jail, going on the yard. And he used to say, when you say where you're going, he used to say, I'm going on the yard for a run. And it was like still prison was in my mind. So this is the park where we used to come out for a run before I kind of twigged that I can actually go running anywhere. I can go and, explore the local area and get to know the way around. And I still came to the park now and again, because it got to the point where I measured how long it was. And I used to do my sprints on this long straight bit here. It is uphill slightly this way, but downhill slightly the other way. You actually do a couple of laps of this park. You start the park run and then you turn up there there's a big field up here on the right, just through up here. I'm going to turn up it now. Up there, and that's where all the muddiness is. You do like 2 laps of there and you come back round on here. But with me getting out in October, it meant I had Christmas coming up, so all the Christmas stuff was in the shops when I got out in October. But it still meant it was a good while before summer came up, and by the time summer did come up, I was not on any curfew, and it wasn't actually until February that I found the job. Now let's speed it up. Now I'm going to walk back down Walmsley Road, but there's a back way where you go towards the town centre. This is where the gym is, so hang on, just some quite old grand houses looking like that, like they were once grandiose houses. And there's some hostel kind, like temporary housing next door to the hostel, but I never really found out what it was. I think it's like for homeless people or something. But yeah, you got the hostel coming up here. If we'd have stuck around here until 1 o'clock, because everyone has a 1 o'clock sign, if we'd have just stood outside at 1 o'clock and just see who comes out, so there's the hostel. There will always be people there. But you'll end up like that guy off Instagram, Jail Tales, who waits outside court. So you go down the back streets here, and this is like some slightly industrial estate. But yeah, that guy Jail Tales, who just waits outside court, or waits outside prison as well when people are getting out, and has about a 10-second conversation with him about what you're in for. And yeah, I've never really seen the point. I mean, I could do that themselves if I find any like prisoners that want to tell the stories. But so you go down here, and the gym is about a minute down here on the right, and you actually get a digit code that you can put on the door, like if you want to go in early in the morning or something. It's just there here on the right, there, gym. And yeah, this is me just going back to Bury Town Centre now and finding somewhere to eat. But I was saying that I've probably eaten and drank in pretty much every pub and cafe and bar and everywhere in Bury. Remember my first couple of months, I just used to spend days wandering around Bury Town Centre during a weekday and just wandering in different places, trying different things. And one of the things I'd point out, I had prison tattoos, what I wanted to get covered up, and I went to a tattoo shop in Bury. This is it. And right next door to it, you can see the adult shop. And I actually remember going there, I was out wandering with one of the lads from the hostel, and walked in, and he had like DVDs in there for like 15, 20 quid. I'm like, fucking hell, they're cheaper in prison. You get them for a pack of vapes and stuff. But I did, this stinks of piss here. But yeah, they had some really bizarre, strange stuff. But I did buy this from there. And I was actually out 9 days before I managed to put it to some use. And I can say it works pretty well. See, I'm coming back up in the Bury Town Centre now. This is the bit where you can turn off there, where Wilco was. There's that Time Smile restaurant just on the right. The Cars Past is there. That's new. That used to be a Cats Protection Society charity shop, I think. There's a pub up here called the Robert Peel. And there's a place just up on the left where I'm about to go now for dinner called Bloom Coffee. And we do like avocado, toast, scrambled egg, poached eggs and chorizo jam, that kind of, it's like a hipster cafe. But I did actually have a job trial shift there, and they offered me the job, but then they took it back. They were fine about me criminal record and stuff, but so they said. And they did invite me back, but then they decided that they couldn't afford to take anyone else on. This was actually the footage I took at the time when I moved room into a second room. This is what you call the self-catering room. So you pay £30 a week in the hostel, and this is Kez still there, getting about, still got him. So you pay £30 a week in the hostel, and it's amazing how many people try and get out of paying it, coming out of all kinds of excuses and reasons. But this is actually a shared room, so you've got this room here. And when you're in this room, you only pay £9 a week, but you don't get the food because it's got its own little kitchen. And it was handy because by the time I got here, I was working at Nando's. So we used to get pretty much free food from there anyway. And obviously, when you're working, you got a decent wage and you're only paying £9 a week, that money soon builds up. So just through that door right facing you is the shared room. And there was quite a few people who were in there. One of them got recalled while I was in there for coke. I think it's about 4 different people that are shared that room all the time when I was there. So yeah, there's all my gym stuff, and yeah, that cookie book, I think it was already in there. Someone left it. All the cooking equipment was already there, but it was a good little experience because the idea is to, with some people, especially long termers like me who've been in since they were young, it's aimed at getting you back to independent living, and you don't have to save a few quid. But it's been nearly 2 years since I left that hostel, and I do miss some things about it. I had some many good experiences there. So, and that's it for now. I'm going to leave it. So if you got this far, then thanks.